1968 for his brother Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. Former National Security Council Chief of Staff in the first Trump administration and a CIA analyst for 19 years, and now Vice Chair at America First Policy Institute, Fred Fleitz joins me. Fred, explain this to me. It's been drip, 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 drip. President Trump released some in 2017, President Biden some in 2022. But tell me, hypothetically, what in the world, 63 years later, whatever it is for Kennedy and 57 for RFK Jr. and Martin Luther King, what possibly could have been so secret even beyond 50 years?
Those are great questions because the people involved in this are long dead. Maybe the CIA was running some kind of an operation that was embarrassing. We know Lee Harvey Oswald applied for Soviet citizenship in 1959. We know he was a member of pro-Cuban groups, and there are reports that he was involved in some type of CIA operation to collect intelligence. I don't know how true the latter point is, but there's something going on here that is so embarrassing, the U.S. government doesn't want to release it. And, you know, this long after this happened, what is this, 62 years, 61 years? I think it's time that we get this out into the open.
Yeah, but the thing is that embarrassing isn't a criteria for national security. It doesn't mean someone's coming in over the border. I mean, because the CIA or somebody dropped the ball or somebody might be involved, that's not a national security issue. That may be embarrassing, but I don't know who gets to decide these things all these years. Okay, you know, I'm a good citizen, but I haven't been able to see this stuff for 62 years.
Well, if there was some sensitive intelligence method or technology, I could see maybe protecting that for a long period of time, but that's not what's going on here. And whatever this operation is, it was against a government that no longer exists. But this goes to a bigger issue, a bigger objective of this administration, and that is to address the abuse of classification. Huge amounts of intelligence is classified because the federal government doesn't want the American people to see it, not because it's sensitive, and that has to be stopped.
Well, you know, sort of a companion issue to this is the Freedom of Information Act. The FBI in Alabama, and everyone think I'm probably sound like a broken record, they will not release some records to me from a closed sting operation in Aruba from 2010. You know, this idea that these people in government get to keep these secrets from us because it's, quote, embarrassing or for whatever reason, but the idea that we go back to 1963 on Kennedy and 1968 for RFK Jr. and Martin Luther King is just unthinkable, and you know it's got to stop.
Government officials routinely classify everything. For example, there are documents concerning the Biden administration's negotiations with North Korea on their nuclear program that reveal things that the North Koreans said in the 1990s that I tried to get a hold of when I worked for the State Department, but I couldn't get a hold of them because they were classified and controlled by the Clinton Presidential Library. The Bush administration couldn't pry them out of the government, even though they're in control of the government. So there's something wrong here, Greta.
So, all right, so I assume it's this, but there's going to be, I mean, this is just sort of the poster child for government secrecy and overclassification and everything. Do you think that the Trump administration is going to be any different in remembering that, you know, they work for us, and unless it truly is something secret like the nuclear code or something, I don't care what it is, but something, you know, are we going to see more transparency in this administration?
Here's what I can say. I have good reason to believe there will be a very strong executive order to stop the overclassification of U.S. government documents.
Well, that would be greatly appreciated because, and I mean, who knows? I mean, it may turn out that it doesn't show anything when these records are revealed. If it doesn't show anything, then why did they classify it? If it does show something, who'd they cover up for, right?
I'm still baffled why this hasn't been released. As I said, the people involved are long dead. I think it's something that a U.S. government agency, maybe the CIA, maybe the FBI did, that the U.S. government does not want the American public to know about.
People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.